Something old, something new, something borrowed, even if it's the groom, and something blue. Nice dress, Deirdre. Everybody loves a wedding, except the Corrie cast.
Weddings are all very nice on the screen, but a film are a pain in the bum.
Weddings are horrible.
Oh, God, it's the most boring day you've ever had in your life.
I think the difference between a soap wedding and a real wedding is that with a real wedding, you want everything to be perfect. No hitches, everything to be just as it should be. Whereas with a soap wedding, that's the last thing you want.
Coming up in this programme, we speak to the street's blushing brides, go behind the scenes of some of the most extraordinary weddings, and get the lowdown on the frocks from the man who designed Princess Di's wedding dress.
Everybody loves a bride. Everybody loves it because it's drama, it's larger than life, and it's a big social occasion.
I think weddings make great soap material because, I mean, it's not just soap, you're talking drama.
I'll call you. I promise. I love you.
Jerry! Jerry! And it's so emotional. The day is so emotional. Liar.
What?
Liar! 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 You're a liar!
Calm down!
Well, you know there's going to be a spot of trouble.
It's all fixed up, the licence and everything. There's a bloke in there waiting to marry us. All you got to do is say yes.
Have you gone start raving mad?
Someone at the back to say,
don't make a fool of yourself. You don't love him and you can't marry him.
Everybody's out of their normal environment and anything can happen.
In fact, we've had a wedding recently.
And what a wedding! It was the talk of the tabloids as Peter Barlow walked down the aisle again.
You're getting quite good at it now. I think I might have said Shelley at Lucy's wedding and Lucy at Shelley's wedding. You get confused to which one you're married to, but now I'm married to them both, so it's all right.
No, it's not. It's bigamy.
I think in a strange way, in his own head, Peter was doing the right thing by marrying Lucy because he got her pregnant, he did love her, and he wanted to marry her.
I, Peter Barlow, do take thee, Lucy Victoria Richards,
Do take thee, Lucy Victoria Richards,
to be my lawful wedded wife.
I really couldn't believe my eyes when I saw him go through that marriage ceremony with Lucy. I mean, without laying his cards on the table to both women. It was cruel, it was wrong, it was crazy.
The nation was transfixed as, on the eve of his wedding to Shelley, Peter let slip the truth. Well, some of it.
I have been seeing somebody else, yeah.
You're joking?
No. And I wanted to tell you for so long.
We're getting married tomorrow.
I know.
shocker! How could you?
Shell, love, what I did, it didn't have anything to do with you.
It had everything to do with me! You went from my bed to another woman's and then back to mine! Don't you dare tell me it had nothing to do with me!
So, would she or wouldn't she turn up at the church?
Actually, on the day, we had a lot of paparazzi there. They will always turn up at weddings. So we actually shot on stills 3 different endings. And they ran in all the magazines, and it was one situation where viewers didn't know what was going to happen, whether they actually were going to get married. And that's great, always to have that element of surprise.
When Shelley did show up, I thought she looked really lovely.
Shelley just loved her dress, she loved the whole thing. That's probably why she went through with it in the end.
She had almost a sort of a brocade, almost a boned bodice, like a corset top over an A-line skirt. And with tiny little straps, and the hair was done with the tiara.
She wanted to look like a princess for the day, whereas Sally thought she looked like a Disney character, and I was in it from 7 o'clock in the morning till, you know, 7:30 at night, this dress, for a week.
I thought she looked lovely.
And all the makeup girls were going, oh, honest to God, she's going to cry her eyes out when she sees you, Mum. She's going to think you're wonderful. And I was like, I swear to God, she won't. She won't. She won't. Anyway, she turned up on the day and she laughed her head off. She went, look at this day, you. And I went, I know. And the girls were like, what? And she went, oh, no, I'm not being awful. You know, she looks great. It's just my daughter would never in a million years get married in that.
While Shelley was enjoying being a princess for the day, wife number 1 was lurking outside the church.
I think you'd better hide.
Hi. I thought that was a cracking episode, actually, with Lucy with the pram outside, just turning as they left the church. I thought that was a brilliant one.
We filmed it in a place called Acton Court in Stockport. And this place was where I used to go to all the teenage marriages when I was a kid, and all the 18-year-olds. Yeah, it was one of those places, and it's proper, you know, just perfect for Peter and Shelley's wedding. Brilliant location. And it was that hot, and it's on the very, very busy road called the A6. And it was that boiling, we had to close the doors, even though it was like 90 outside, and because of the sound, you see. Well, one of our sound engineers, his nickname's Chirpy, he got that hot that he fell off his ladder. So the next day, the boys came in and they put like a dead body white line round it, you know, where he'd fell.
Julie Hesmondhalgh wasn't at Shelley's wedding. She was actually at her own, but she did catch the episode on television.
And I came in the next day and said, oh, the wedding scenes were fantastic. It was so good. It was so much movement in it. And everyone was saying, it was so hot. The boom operator passed out. Oh, we all had to have like gallons of water. It was hell.
Everyone was like, oh, I can't do it anymore. And the great thing, there was a psychic fair going on in the next hall, so we had the whole lot out. It wasn't remotely private, and everyone was having a go up. And then we decided to film the scenes. It just worked out when all the kids came out of school. So obviously the kids were screaming all sorts.
So you're just like, oh, I'm glad I was at my wedding instead.
It's all smiles now, but you just know it's all going to end in tears. Any advice?
I would advise Shelley to deal with Peter in the fact, remember, he is an Aries.
I did give Shelley advice when she married Peter. It consisted of one word: run.
The negative side of an Aries is that they are quite selfish. They don't think about the past. They don't think about their actions too much. So really, what Shelley has to do is take control of Peter, not allow him to just go his own way and do his own thing. The man should die.
And should be shot at dawn and hung, drawn and quartered and buried in the river with a cement welly on his foot.
Serve him right.
Hey, calm down, ladies. Weddings are a hotbed for gossip, family feuds and stress.
Peter, love, nobody likes weddings. 20-odd quid on relatives you'd not seen for donkey's years. Friends taking umbrage when they're relegated to the evening do.
People go to vast amounts of trouble.
New outfit, new shoes, new hairdo.
The big thrones and, you know, and like a big marquee.
People go into debt.
Prezi off the list.
Some people save up all their lives. Some people barter.
The seating plan's trickier than the Good Friday Agreement.
There's usually a punch up at the do after, you know.
The photographer will fleece you for the only photo where the bride's got one chin and the groom's got his eyes open.
You know, you've got to have your uncles fighting over the video cameras and that kind of thing.
Some people do the most extraordinary things.
And you'll spend the next 10 years paying for the 10-hour fiasco.
Is it any wonder people sometimes opt for a secret wedding? Not everyone will share Julie's enthusiasm for another street wedding.
You absolutely dread the word wedding.
Weddings are all very nice on the screen, but a film are a pain in the bum.
Weddings are horrible. Oh, God, it's the most boring day you've ever had in your life.
You think you are going to die.
They're so long and so tedious, you know.
Oh, dearie me.
There's going to be a week of scenes where you're going to be an extra in a lot of them. If somebody's got a scene in front of you, you're sat at the back and you have to keep eating chocolate cake, you know, even though you're not saying anything. Laughing at the best man's speech or whatever, or weeping at something going wrong.